Hey folks, today I'm going to be making a controller for the mini tethered sumo robot project. I'm going to be using Inkscape to make this design. All of these shapes, all of these red shapes are going to be cut out using the laser cutter. Everything that's black that you see on here is just an added detail so that we know which terminal to hook up the power supply once we're making this. And of course we need a sumo on here because it's a sumo robot. I'm going to start a new file so that you can see what I'm doing from scratch. And just for reference, the page size is about the size of a piece of paper. I'm going to start by making a rectangle. I'm just going to click and drag this rectangle out right now. Yours probably won't be looking like this because mine are saving the settings of the last one that I did. Some things that you're going to need to change up here on the top left. Let's make the width of this controller 120 millimeters. Let's make the height of this box 75 millimeters. And Rx and Ry stand for the radius of this corner. So you're probably seeing just a straight rectangle, which would be 0 and 0. But I think this looks a little better if we put some rounded corners on it. Of course, you're welcome to do your own design. This is just a basic demonstration for people who need help getting started. Next, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start putting holes through here. What we need, if I'm just going to go back to the original Sumo controller here, we need 12 holes, 6 on either side, for the screws that are going to be going through, which provide power to our motors. The top 2 up here are actually for terminals so that we can attach the power supply to this controller. We aren't going to be using batteries. We're all going to get the same exact voltage from the same power supply. So these are just for a couple of screws that poke out to hook up to. And these 2 big holes in the middle are for strain relief so that our cable is not going to get yoinked out as our robot is driving around. So I'm going to start by now making one of these circles. I'm just going to make one and I'm going to copy the same shape over and over and over again. So this one, to make a perfectly true circle, if you hold Control, you'll see that it sort of snaps to either a perfectly true circle or some type of ellipse. So I'm just going to hold that there. Not that it really matters because I'm going to change these dimensions manually anyway. Rx and Ry stand for radius. And I've measured the screws that we're going to be using, and the outside dimension of the screw is 4 millimeters. So I want the radius to be 2 millimeters in each dimension. Okay, so that's it. Should be a complete circle. Now, this one circle, I want to copy it, and I want to paste a copy, and I want to paste another copy. You'll notice it pastes wherever your mouse is, so I'm just sort of laying this out in the way that I want. I'm going to use the alignment menu to actually align everything. You'll find that one under Object. We're going to use Align and Distribute quite a bit on this design. I'm going to select these 3 circles that I've just made now, and the first step is I want to center them all on each other so that they're all in a line. And the second thing I want to do is I want to distribute them evenly from each other. So you'll notice that everything's sort of snapping into place here. Now, with all 3 still selected, I'm going to copy all 3 of these now with Control-C and paste 3 more of these right there with Control-V. Now, to lay this out in a way that makes sense with the other one, I'm just going to take these 2 top ones up here. Let's see how close they are if I was to match the center points of each of these. Oh, probably not far enough away to even worry about. I would do this though just to make sure that these are all lined up in a line here. They should already be vertically aligned here. So now I'm going to take these 6 and I'm going to make a copy of these 6. And I'm going to paste these 6 over here so that we now have a second copy of all of these. Now, I want this set of controllers and this set of controllers to be centered on my big box here. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to take these 6 and I'm going to combine these 6 circles together. So it's making just one single shape now. I'm going to do the same over here. I guess I could have done this earlier. So now we only actually have 3 objects on the page. I'm going to align everything relative to the biggest object, which is the box. So the box should never move and everything else moves around it. I'm going to hold Shift to get these 2 other objects. And I want things to align themselves so that their centers are distributed equally. There we go. That looks good. Okay, now I need to make the two terminals for the top up here. So I'm going to make another circle, exactly the same as I did before. This was just going to be 2 by 2 again. And I'm going to copy that and paste another one over here. If you want these to be lined up in exactly the right place, you could use the alignment menu as well. I'm just going to kind of plonk these in here. That looks good enough for now. I'm going to make a couple more circles, and these ones are for the strain relief. So this is where the cable will come in and out of this board so that we aren't going to pull the weak electrical connections loose as the robot's driving around. So this circle needs to be bigger. It needs to be able to fit the whole size of the cable, which is about 8 millimeters or so. So I'm going to make this circle exactly 4 by 4 millimeters in radius. And once again, copy that with Control C and paste a copy with Control V. I want all these 3 to be lined up in the center of the box, these 2 I should say. So by selecting those 3, I'm then going to align on the central axis. Okay, so this is the nuts and bolts of it. This is exactly where I'm going to be putting each of the screws for everything to slide into. Now, it'd be nice if we made this a little bit more unique. So step 1 is we need to know for sure which is the positive and the negative side of this controller. Otherwise, if you go to drive it, it might be driving backwards on you. So I'm just going to add a little bit of text next to this hole up here. We'll just call this one plus. Let's fill that in with black so the laser fills it in all the way. Let's put that one over here, just right next to that. And I'm going to do another bit of text on this one. We'll call this one a minus. Oops, sorry, minus. That doesn't look very good. What about a underscore? That's a little better. Fill that in with black. I'm going to select the object to move it around. If you're trying to move it and you're still on the text tool, you'll just keep making more text. So now we know what's positive and negative. Now we need some kind of a Sumo figure to put on here. So I'm going to open up a new page of the internet. Let's look for Sumo Man or something like that. Ooh, lovely. Let's go looking through some images. Okay, I'm getting distracted. I'm going to look for something that's a clip art type so that it's a little bit easier to trace and actually laser out. Let's do this one. Try something different. So I'm going to copy this image and go back to our new Sumo controller here, and I'm going to paste this in. And this itself, this picture with all these pixels and a background and all the rest of it, it won't laser very well. So I'm going to use trace bitmap to hopefully pick up just the dark shapes of this. That looks good to me. I've now made a copy of said Sumo Man. Let's delete the old picture. Just put him in here somewhere. Maybe the controller comes out as belly button. Nah, this is getting too weird. Let's just resize this like I did in the other one. Put it down here. You may want to put your name on this too. I think that would be a good thing. I'm going to put my name on mine so that I know that it's mine. Mr. B. And maybe make this all a little bit smaller so it doesn't dominate the look. There we go, somewhere over here in the corner. Okay, now there's one step that we still need to do before we send it over to the laser. These lines are the right color of red. It's this specific color here, FF0000. If you open up the Fill and Stroke menu under Object, and you check out the stroke paint, it should be full red, 255 red, and the opacity should be set all the way up to 100%. The thing that we need to change, the laser can't interpret lines this thick. We need to go to the stroke style. The strokes are the lines that these shapes are made from. And we're going to change the width. Instead of measuring in millimeters, it's going to be in pixels. All of these shapes right now are 1 pixel. So I'm just going to take everything, change this all to pixels, and change, whoa, not 100 or 99 pixels. I want to be 0.1 pixel wide. Now, I didn't start with that because this is extremely difficult to see unless you zoom way in. The lines are still there. It just needs to be that thin for the laser to understand them because it's a finicky machine. Okay, so that's it. If I was you at this stage, I would hit save and save this for yourself in your OneDrive. If you're smart about this, you're going to make a folder, something that's makerspace or laser stuff or electronics or something like that. I'm just going to save this in here right now. Call this Sumo Man controller. And I'm saving it as an Inkscape SVG. Now, if you're ready to print, if everything's been checked over and you're sure that this is exactly the way that you want to make it, you're going to go save as or save a copy. They do the same thing. And we're going to take this to this PC, School Share, Drive. There's a Makerspace folder near the top. There's a laser Dropbox right at the top of that. This needs to be a PDF. The machine only reads PDF documents, so you need to save as type PDF. Okay? And that's it. Oh, this is it. You need to say yes, okay to these settings. And that's it. This is a very basic controller, but it's going to get the job done. At least the layout is set so that we are able to make the actual controller bits manually. We can do this with a piece of metal banding or aluminum pop can. They both work out quite well. Okay, thanks for watching. I'll catch you on the next one.